Hi Ali, and welcome to the Hour Markers. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Thank you, everyone.
Pleasure. FutureGrail. Very interesting concept. So we've heard about investments in real estate, investment in gold, and you're talking about investing in your watches. Tell us a little bit about that.
Investing in the passion of watches. I think this is more important than investing in watches. Yes, we just use all the experience we have ourselves as collectors and people in the industry to create a business model that works for everybody.
Yeah.
So our mission is very simple: to have accessibility. So we do a lot of education, a lot of curation, a lot of seminars, a lot of discussions with family offices, with trusts, with individuals, with corporations. So we're very, very active, extremely active to promote watchmaking in general.
Right. It's a very interesting concept. How did you come up with it?
It's refining the business concept always. So I started with Two-Tone Vintage, which is a retail shop in Singapore. We grew very fast in the vintage market. And I was very happy actually to have watchmakers servicing the watches and making warranties to my clients on the vintage. So my philosophy was always to give a warranty guarantee to my clients. But one thing that was very important in retail is very commercially driven. So I actually needed a safe zone where I can display my own collection in a museum setup. And I needed a bonded space that is tax-free. So I found this space and I built an amazing showroom, museum, but also amazing event space. So we do a lot of events with private banks, with insurance companies, just to target the same kind of clients and provide the education for it. So we always start with education, never the commercial side of things.
So I'm going to ask you the famous question: are watches a good investment?
There is a very good answer for this. Watches are a good investment for two reasons. If you first of all believe in the brand and the watchmaker, and it almost always appreciates over time. But people misunderstood the time effect, meaning that if you buy a watch and you want to sell it in 1 year or 2 years, like any car, you drive it, there's use, you're gonna, in principle, should lose money on it. Okay, the pandemic changed that fact, or fueled the interest that actually watches will go up, quick. But actually, based on my experience as a purist, as a pure collector of vintage watches, of vintage Pateks, Rolexes, pocket watches, historical pieces, the only way to consider a watch an investment is to look very long term, 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, and you're almost guaranteed, for your watch to at least preserve value or make something, a premium on it. Because first of all, we want our watches to at least hedge against inflation. For me, I don't look at watches as an investment vehicle. I look at it as preserving value and trying to protect myself from the inflation effect, meaning the money value is going down, so eventually watches, naturally, they have to go up because producing them, the cost of producing them, the retail prices are going up. So always remember the long-term play. So when you build a collection, really buy things you really, really love, not because they're going to go up. I tell you, because if you don't like the watch or you don't love it from the beginning, you're going to attempt to sell it within 1 year, 2 years, or 6 months, even 2 weeks. You really don't know, but you're almost, in a normal world, you're almost guaranteed to lose on it.
So you're an expert at this. Tell me, does rarity equate value?
No, quality equals value. Quality of the watch equates the value. The quality of the finishing, of the movement. Rarity, I think, is in the difficulty in making the watch. I think one. But in the vintage world, it's a bit different. Rarity is secondary. It must be in top condition, in good condition, honest condition. Maybe provenance a little bit plays a factor, and then maybe price is the last thing. The value is the last thing we think about, because we learned over the years that quality trumps everything. If you have a great quality watch, there's no value for it, because it's rare of the rare. So if Patek, for example, or Rolex produced 20 of these pieces or 100 of these pieces 60, 70, 80 years ago, how many of them has been preserved in very good condition? Most of them, they were tool watches to be worn. So they're rare already from the production point of view, but the quality makes it extremely rare. So once you have these price pieces, the 1%, the 5%, of the production, then they're extremely valuable. You will never let go without actually making money on them. So is the watch important to you, then it will be a very good investment. Or is it just a tool or a fashion? I think you have to define that. Then you will know the answer of a good investment or a bad investment.
But then, how do you balance between being a passionate watch collector and investing in the right watches?
It's putting your vision. The only way I do things is basically not to follow the trends.
Coming back to what I was asking
Yeah,
earlier today,
yeah, not to follow the trends, because really, really, you have to set your own trends. You have your own taste. I changed my taste really multiple times, but actually, change of taste is also related to knowledge. I think no one wants to talk about this. Most of the people are comfortable with what they know, what they know about, and I think people don't want to admit that.
Right.
So the more knowledge you acquire, the more things you understand about these watches, you're more comfortable to buy and add things to your collection. So most of the people, they're always protective because they don't want to admit that they don't understand what they're buying. So as we more forums like this for great people like Siddiqui family promoting, and then these conversations will help the collectors, all of us, to understand how things should go forward.
So, but is it true when it's an investment perspective, people basically look at the three brands? It's Rolex, Patek Philippe, and Audemars Piguet.
True, and now also, of course, in the last many years, maybe the last 10 years, of course, independence.
Yes.
They're investing in the person. I think they must like the person, the design philosophy, and the craftsmanship. And, you can see the interest in independent watchmaking. Three brands and the independence and everyone else, I think. But I said on the panel earlier that, now I see collectors really having a different spectrum. Small watches, big watches, complicated, simple, time only. I see also a trend of people buying just 2 hands, 3 hands watches now and paying record prices for them because they now understand they're extremely rare and sought after.
Correct. Yeah, I think watches are getting simpler. Times are getting complicated, but watches are getting
No doubt,
simpler.
no doubt, I agree.
So, Ali, if you had to put a collection together for, say, somebody who's just starting off their watch collection, what would your 3 or 4 suggestions be in terms of investments?
The first question I will ask the person is, what is your lifestyle? Is he a banker? Is he a sportsman? Everyone gravitate to something else. Building a collection is really a personal taste. It is influenced by advice, by talking passionately. For me, the most important in building the collection is I will love the watch as much as the person. I'm willing to buy it myself as much, so I'm willing to partner even with my client to buy a watch. I think if I want to put, a collection together of 10 watches, I will have a balance between, vintage. I will actually buy 2 independents, 2 modern pieces. I will buy 2 pocket watches, and I will buy 4 vintage wristwatches. Maybe 1 steel metal vintage Patek. And I will buy a Submariner or a vintage Pre-Daytona, and I will put maybe a 60s or 70s watch, which is a little bit also the language, the design language in the 70s is very, very interesting.
Right.
And then I will put a few pocket watches in the collection to create a balance.
Yeah, pocket watches are making a comeback in
They
a
are.
strong
They
way.
are. The new generation is really, really interested in the subject, and they understand what they're doing. Yeah.
Okay, that's something that you would advise someone to do. What would you advise a new watch enthusiast not to do?
To buy what was offered to you. Never buy what was offered to you. For me, I'm very sensitive about it. It's not like because the watch is available means that you have to buy it. Resist. Just buy what you really want, and wait for it. Wait for it. Don't get remorse or how to say itchy that you need to have a watch today. Just wait for the right watch. I think the most difficult thing to see on the secondary market is people really, really kill themselves to buy a certain watch, but once they receive it, they have no connection with it. This is
Correct.
happening, across the board. Maybe 2/3 of the of people are facing this issue.
Yeah, but that's what I feel. That's where I feel the whole trends comes in. When you bring in I have nothing against the term trends, but I feel like when you bring in the term trend, and then you have a collector who wants to buy a watch because it's trending, but how long will it be trending?
It will not last for long.
Yeah.
And once when the market shake a little bit, everyone sell the watch. So where's the passion? For
Correct.
me, I've been more also dealing with more seasoned collectors for the last 12 years. They're let's say the top collectors. They have different philosophy. The older generation have a different philosophy. They really, really love what they have. So it's very difficult for them to let go. And that also one of the factors why certain pieces maintain and go up, because actually people will never sell them.
Right.
So rare, they become extremely much rarer because there's no one willing to sell these pieces.
Right.
So what is rarity? Is availability. Not availability from access point of view, availability from production and real not available in the market. It's like even if you set the price, it's not for sale. These are the best watches to collect. The unique stuff that were made for important people of the past.
Any buyer's remorse you've had?
Buyer remorse? Not really. Buyer remorse. Buyer remorse only when the watch doesn't work.
Okay, that's happened.
You imagine you buy even a modern independent. I'm talking about actually specifically. Recently produced watches. It is very annoying to buy a watch and it doesn't work.
Yeah. Of course. Especially if we spend that kind of money.
Exactly. So I think quality control can be improved now with most of the brands. That's why I think most collectors today, they really love the independent watches because they know that the watchmakers did really their best, to give the best watch, and it's not the production line. It's a proper watchmaking. So I think that's why there's always interest in these kind of watches. But for vintage watches, the beauty is they made these watches to last forever. One, because they made most of the dials until the 60s, they were enamel engraved.
Right.
So they were really made forever. And the movements were made forever.
Right.
So you can pick up a watch that's 100 years old, just wind it, and it will tick, and it will be accurate in time. So
Right.
it's fascinating. And they're not very difficult to repair if you have a qualified watchmaker that can do the job.
Right.
So if you have access to vintage watches, you know what you're buying, you have warranty on it, guarantee on it, and at the same time, it's serviced, the movement is keeping time. Well, I think it's already a good investment.
Super. What's on your wrist today, Ali?
Well, everyone perceives me as a Patek Philippe collector and pocket watch collector.
You look like that.
I do.
Have that vibe.
Yeah, I'm a very classic, old soul.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm wearing 8171 by Patek Padellone from 1954.
Wow.
That I bought from the original family in Germany.
Okay.
That I just gave a story about
Yes.
earlier. So it's very personal, very, very dear watch to me. Because in vintage world, we cannot, hundreds and I don't know how many watches passed through my hands, but I can only claim 2 or 3 watches that I really 100% bought from the original family,
Wow, but that says a lot.
Not so many,
Yeah,
not so many.
That says a lot. What's your collection like?
It's on display. A big part of it is actually on display in Singapore now at FutureGrail Museum. You can come, you can take an appointment and come. Please, I invite everybody to just contact us and come for an hour, 2 hours to chat about watches and have a nice conversation. The collection is, I would say, last week I was saying to my colleagues that I believe, I completed my collection, at least for now, until I become, I need to buy something. But it's a combination of really a large amount of pocket watches are historically significant, like, watches from kings, queens, tsars, from different countries, including Napoleon, Marie Antoinette, the Tsar of Bulgaria, of course the Emperor of China, the sultans of the Turkish Empire. So there's a lot of provenance, a lot of history, and a lot of very, very, very significantly historically important pieces, meaning they've been in different publications for over 100 years,
Wow.
And a lot of these pieces, they've been in collections for 30 years, 40 years. So I really is like waiting, until you have a chance that someone after 30 years sell a piece like this.
Wow, I'm
but
sold. I'm definitely dropping by.
Please
the next
come.
time I'm in Singapore.
What started as a hobby end up as a museum.
Yeah, I was talking to Austin just before this, and I told him, I said, we're very lucky, the few of us, to turn our passion into our profession.
It's
Doesn't
amazing.
happen.
We have our up, and sometimes we have our down because we work very hard in this industry. But this, I think, is a niche, beautiful industry.
It is. And on that note, thank you very much, Ali.
you.
It was a pleasure connecting with you.
And I love your smile, by the way.
Thank you. We see you soon in Singapore.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.